More than 53,000 fans enter the modern stadium, most of them confident that the Raiders will win their first American Football League title. The mood is festive. The Raiders have won 10 in a row, including a late season 19-7 victory over the Houston Oilers. The Oakland players radiate confidence as they warm up. After beating every team in the league at least once, the Raiders seem relaxed and well prepared. Head coach Johnny Roush is counting on his young passer, Darryl LaMonica. Houston's quarterback is Pete Beathard, who, like LaMonica, is finishing his first season as a starter. On these two somewhat untested arms will depend much of the outcome of this 8th American Football League championship game.
Our entire Oakland Raider team was well prepared for the ball game. We were very confident, and especially our defense. We felt that we could hold her running to a minimum, and that we could hold them 10 points or less. We knew that if we could stop Granger, who is one of the best fullbacks in our league, that we could contain him pretty well.
And how they stop Granger. Every time number 32 touches the pigskin, there are black shirts to sit him down. Granger averaged more than 5 yards per carry during the season. His average for this game is slightly more than 1 yard per carry. By simply overpowering the Houston blockers, the Raiders limit the Oiler fullback to a sparse 19 yards gain. Halfback Woody Campbell fared no better. He was not permitted his heralded long gains. The entire Houston running attack, which led the league in 1967, was handcuffed with a mere 38 yards. Darryl LaMonica continues to explain the Oakland strategy.
The real big problem was that if we could contain Pete Beathard and keep Pete from scrambling out of the pocket too much, and then containing the passing game.
Again, the problem is successfully solved. Blanket coverage in the secondary. Pressure from the pass rush. They are Oakland's trademark. But the pass rush is not just to force a hurried throw. It also is designed to keep Pete Beathard from scrambling, to pin him inside the defensive ends and make him throw from a pocket, or not to let him throw at all. When he does break free, the Raiders are there to smother any further gain. Or make Beathard sorry he passed in the first place. The strategy works. The Oiler offense is neutralized. The league's top quarterback is ready to go to work.
Our game plan was basically to experiment a little bit. We felt that we could run on them as well as throw on them. And, of course, I probed a little bit to find the weaknesses that I did find. I found to our left side, their defensive right side, we did find some weaknesses off tackle and on our sweeps to the left side. So quarterback never bites the hand that feeds him, so I stayed after.
Proving LaMonica's strategy correct, Oakland's fine runners found plenty of room over Houston's defensive right side. With rookie guard Gene Upshaw, number 63, leading the way, Oakland's power sweeps battered Houston's right side for valuable yards. But there is more to LaMonica's analysis.
We worked their middle over and primarily our left side. We also had plays going to our right side as well, but we felt that if I could establish a running game early in the game, that we would be fairly successful.
The strategy is complete. The Raiders have their blueprint for victory. The record crowd joins coaches Johnny Roush of Oakland and Wally Lim of Houston, sharing the tenseness of the opening kickoff. The winner goes to Miami to represent the American Football League in the Super Bowl. The loser goes home. Oakland's Dave Grayson puts the Raiders in Houston territory. Now the probing begins. LaMonica sends his fullback, Hewitt Dixon, into the middle of the Houston line. On 2nd and 6, LaMonica tests the Oilers' strength, their pass defense. Fred Bolitnikoff is there for 9. At the Houston 31, the Raider quarterback continues to search for a weakness. The throw is incomplete. Oakland's probing offense can't penetrate any further. Former Oiler George Blanda tries a 38-yard field goal that sails off to the right. Still early in a scoreless game, Houston gains momentum. Pete Beathard, it's Woody Campbell for 5. Beathard wants to keep the drive moving. He stays with his passing game. Charlie Frazier slips free for a first down on the Oakland 42. But the Houston delight is short-lived. Beathard begs to rookie Alvin Reed, who appears to have another first down, when Oakland linebacker Dan Connor steals the ball. Raider coach Johnny Roush watches intently as the Oilers nearly match Oakland's earlier break. LaMonica's aerial is almost intercepted by Oiler rookie Ken Houston. A second look reveals the Houston safety has possession with a clear field ahead, but he drops the ball. If the rookie is upset, imagine how his coach feels. Oakland's George Blanda salvages 3 points from the drive, boosting the Raiders to a 3-0 advantage after 1 period. Any quarter of any championship game started out with a bigger explosion, it has gone unnoticed. On the first play of the second period, a simple in sweep by Hewitt Dixon quickly becomes the longest run from scrimmage in AFL title game history. 69 yards to the final chalk mark. Another look at this record-setting play. A last-second decision by quarterback LaMonica, who recalls this situation.
As the game progressed, I did notice that they were overloading when I went into a spread, as we call an east formation, where I take and put both my outside receivers to the wide side of the field, or the strong side of the field. I did this, and they overshifted, and I got up to the line of scrimmage, and they were giving us what we call a strong dog. They were bringing their strong backer, Webster, also their middle linebacker. And so when I saw this, that I audibilized out of the play that I had and called an end sweep to their weak side or back into the short side of our field. We packed everybody down in the middle. We cut off their pursuit. And Pete Banaszak made the real big key block on the play. He had the lead block. He chopped down their linebacker. Gene Upshaw, our left guard, came out clean and turned it around. After that, it was just clear sailing for Hewitt Dixon, who is a great runner and showed his speed.
The Raiders shocked the Oilers with a 10-0 lead. 3 more times, the Raider defense chokes off Houston drives, and Oakland regains possession the 3rd time for keeps. Less than 2.5 minutes to play in the half. The Raiders test the weakness they have found on Houston's defensive right side. Pete Banaszak fights to near midfield. Then Dixon dances through white jerseys to the Oiler 41. A little more than a minute till halftime. Again, Dixon. Again, Houston's right side. And again, this time, Pete Banaszak carries to the Oilers 17, where it's 4th and 1 with time running out. Now is the time to dig deep for that game breaker, the one play the enemy is not expecting. 18 seconds, and here comes Coach Rauch's decision. A fake field goal with LaMonica rolling out. Dave Kasurik is wide open, chased only by a Houston tackle, George Rice. Oiler coach Wally Lim calls it a key play. Darryl LaMonica tells how it happened.
I felt that the coach made a very wise decision in saving the play for the time that we did use it, because it was a big surprise play, and of course Webster had overcommitted himself. He was coming in to block the field goal if he could, and he got out of position, which allowed me to roll and get to the outside fairly clear. They just couldn't recover in time to get to Dave Kasurik, who I believe made his first reception of the year. A big reception for 7 points, and it gave us a tremendous advantage at halftime.
It's Oakland 17-0. The Oilers know they must begin to make their move as the 3rd period opens. Rookie Zeke Moore, the AFL's top man at kickoff returns, sets out on his specialty. But Dwayne Benson slams into Moore, popping the ball loose. Ken Herrock recovers for Oakland on the Houston 29. Fate has dealt the Oilers another disastrous blow. When a team is down, go for broke is LaMonica's theory after the Houston fumble. He unloads the bomb for Billy Cannon. It fails to explode. Back to the power sweep. Pete Banaszak plays his blocks well, runs through a clothesline for 14 yards. Quarterback LaMonica is confident of his halfback.
Pete Banaszak is a very, very strong runner. He never gives up. He will use his blockers to his best advantage, an awful lot like Paul Hornung, Green Bay Packers of the past. I felt that he was very similar, where he could set up his blocking and cut back against the grain and use them to the best advantage for him.
From the Houston 7, LaMonica fakes to Banaszak, then scrambles for a 1st down on the Oiler 2. An Oakland score here, and Houston's dreams of a title could vanish. Number 3 sizes up the Oiler defense. Then behind wedge blocking, LaMonica pushes himself into the end zone. The Raider balance is working to the tune of a 24-0 lead. Darryl LaMonica knows the Oilers must alter their attack.
We knew that they would be putting the ball in the air, and of course this was a big advantage as far as our defense was concerned. By doing this, it took away one of their real strengths in the running game as far as their offense was concerned, and they had to go to their passing game, and then they let our defense pretty much tee off and play a little more reckless football and enable our defensive secondary to anticipate what they were going to do.
The Raiders capitalize on the advantage. Houston goes nowhere. Oakland plays ball control. Banaszak zips up the middle to the Houston 41. Darryl LaMonica knows how Blanda enjoys beating his former mate.
Anytime that you do get traded from one ball club, it gives you an added incentive to go back and want to be at your best against that particular team and to beat that team. This was the case with George Blanda, not only during league play, where he kicked 4 field goals to beat Houston, but also in the championship game, where he again kicked 4 field goals to help us defeat Houston in the real big game. George has a tremendous leg. He's a great kicker, but even more so, he's a great competitor. I can't stress this point enough on George because he plays only to win. And, of course, in football, I think in anything, this is the only way to play it. He's always in there, and he'll give you 100% at all times.
Blanda's 4 field goals personally outscore the Oilers. In the final period, Houston mounts a drive. Sid Blank sweeps to the Raider 39. Rookie linebacker George Webster urges his club to score. Pete Beathard has the same idea, but it takes a pass interference penalty against Oakland's Dave Grayson at the 5 to set up the Oilers. Receiver Alvin Reed thought he had a touchdown, but that comes on the next play. Beathard flips to Charlie Frazier for the tally. The Oilers have a long way to go, trailing 30-7. Victory is just riding out the clock for Darryl LaMonica, Pete Banaszak, and the Western Division champions. But that competitive spirit spurs LaMonica on to try for more points. Banaszak continues to find running room on Houston's right side. At the Oiler 12, LaMonica counters to the defender's strength, their left side. Bill Miller is open for the score. A repeat of the touchdown shows how Oakland's 2 wide receivers cross. Fred Biletnikoff split wide to the right with Bill Miller inside him. A perfect pass means 6 more points for the Raiders. As the seconds die into the Oakland night, the dream that brought Houston from last place in 1966 to first in 1967 ends abruptly, 40-7. The Raiders' blueprint for victory is a success as they enjoy their initial American Football League championship. For Oakland, a record-breaking season ends with a thrill, a title, and a trip.
I think if anyone in the AFL has a chance to beat the Packers, it's definitely the Raiders, especially with a strong defensive team that they have. And I have all the faith in the world in LaMonica.
There's no getting us up. We'll be up, I'll tell you. It was, we're that type of ball club. We've got a lot of pride.
We're just going to go out and do our best and try to stay in the park with them. Hope they don't run us out of the park.
Any professional football team can beat any other professional football team on any given day. And Oakland never lets down, and they always rise to the occasion in the second half, so I say they're going to win.
Well, I think the Raiders can beat the Packers any day. The Raiders will win the Super Bowl. There's no doubt about it.
And I think we'll show up to the game all right, I hope.
The Raiders are going to get killed. Raiders are going to smear the Packers. The Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl.
So we play like we did today. We King Kong and 10 Gorillas can't beat us. So we'll be all right against the Packers.
You know this man, too. They call him the Snake. Traded from Oakland in the offseason. Oakland thought he could no longer throw the long ball. But watch him. Give him a weapon like 00 Kenny Burrow. He'll do just that. Also, Houston with its brilliant two tight end offense. And what tight ends to use? David Gasper and, of course, Mike Crawford.
Of the game, this is the 7th game that he has played for Houston. Is coming in the trade with Oakland. David with all the time in the world. Passing the ball. He did. Passing the ball. Listen to the crowd. And the second half. 2nd and 2. Stabler going for Bobber. He's got him.
The snow was the finest pickup to ever play the blues.
Mike Bobber with his best touchdown of the season and the Oilers.
Yes, sir.
But they're not recognizing it. And Stabler fires. He got jumped and cut down. And Buck Phillips has to be saved. Going deep downfield. Stabler completing 200 A former New York Jet has come back to do it here and say, Chester off the bomb, and the Jets lead us down to 1.
Kenny Stabler had an awful first 3 quarters, Marv. He threw 4 interceptions. His club was down 21-0. Most quarterbacks who go in the tank, they say, well, this game's over with. Kenny Stabler, he plays it 1 down at a time, and he's the coolest man on the field.
Stabler coming back strong in the second half. Full house backfield. And here's Stabler with time. Touchdown! It's Richard Kastner again.
2nd down and 2. Oakland their own 22-yard line. They trail by 7 points. Kenny King, first down and more. 40, 30. Kenny King breaks the big play. 51 yards for the Oakland Raiders to the 22-yard line of Houston.
Talking about Oakland not having the big plays, this is a big play. Kenny King breaking through a hole, good blocking by that offensive line. Now it is a foot race, and number 22, Bill Kay, is eventually going to overtake him. Now, I know that Kenny King has excellent speed, so it must mean that number 22, Bill Kay of Houston, has outstanding speed to run him down. Saved a touchdown.
22-yard line, Arthur Whittington comes in.
Your screen. Christensen is across the 30-yard line. He has a first down for the Raiders, a 10-yard gain. Keith Bostic was covering, but not well.
One of the things that you sacrifice when you go with a blitz down is single coverage behind. And if you're going to single cover a guy like Todd Christensen, you see his release off the line of scrimmage coming right at us at the 25-yard line, and that was down to the right. You've got to hold him up. Very few defensive backs are big enough and strong enough to do that.
Now it's 2nd down and a little over 9, actually. Long 9.
7-0 Raiders in the first quarter. Childress gets the rush on. It's eluded, and now the ball is taken by Christensen, and he's ahead for a gain of about 6 out to the 36-yard line. Richard Byrd, 71, ran him down.
On almost every play, you see the Houston Oilers blitzing an outside linebacker. They try to put pressure on the outside, help their pass rush, because their pass rush, their defensive line, has only accounted for 5 sacks so far through 7 games. And Mark Wilson, not wanting to get hit, just flips it to Todd Christensen and says, "You take the gang tackle."
Christensen heading for the end zone, and he's in. Todd Christensen scores his 2nd touchdown of the season on a 14-yard reception. His 40th catch of the year, gets it in.
The linebacker Grimsley had the coverage. You see Bostic, 25, picks him up first, and then Bostic blitzes, turns him over to Grimsley, playing right into the Raiders' hands. Christensen made the comment to me the last time we did the Raiders. He said it's the first time we'd ever done a game when he didn't score. He says, "I'll get one today."
Christensen, his 2nd of the day. Somehow he does it time and again. Todd Christensen, all-pro tight end of the Los Angeles Raiders, slips free. 2nd touchdown catch of this day, his 3rd of the season. That one good for 32 yards as the Raiders lead it 20-7.
He gets a free release, fakes the out and up, and Jeff Donaldson, 31, is the man that fights. Grimsley's on the inside. He is not the man in coverage. That's on Jeff Donaldson, 31, the safety. If you don't hold a guy like Christensen up at the line of scrimmage, he'll kill you. He'll kill anybody, not just the Houston Oilers.
Big day for Christensen. 4 catches for 60 yards, 2 for touchdowns.
John, back to that touchdown. Watch what happens. 46 is Christensen. Meade, the linebacker, that's all he does to hold him up. This guy's averaged 80 catches a season for the previous 3 seasons. You turn him loose on a kid like Donaldson, he's got no chance whatsoever. The linebacker, you get him to the ground. You make him stumble a little bit. You take him out of the pass route. If he's free and clear, that guy will catch 10 touchdown passes against you.
2 today. Look at his numbers. NBC statistician Dennis Mnuchin pointing out now that 2 of Warren Moon's 300. Defensively, the Oilers rank 11th in the whole NFL. Raiders capitalizing though, and now a throw and a catch as Todd Christensen could be headed for a career day. He was saying something, I guess, Trump, when he told you he was going to catch some today.
He was interested in getting in the end zone. Keith Bostic was the man in coverage. Now watch what happens. Meade tries to hold him up, but look at the hand fighting. He just makes up his own pattern there, Don. A guy that gifted, now 3 catches, 63 yards. 5 catches, 63 yards for 3 touchdowns. Wilson's waiting only on him. You can see he's the only receiver out.
Todd Christensen of the Raiders
behind him.
Raiders are all good. Wilson stands in. Look at the catch by Todd Christensen for a first down. John Grimsley knocked him down, but Todd Christensen, who's having a superb day, makes maybe his toughest catch of the day. He's been in the end zone 3 times with the ball.
You see that Bostic is doing no good whatsoever holding him up. And then 25, Bostic gets scraped off by Grimsley, 59, the linebacker, and that is a great catch. His 6th of the day.
Everybody wonders how Christensen constantly gets free against all that attention he gets. I think one of the things that nobody gives him credit for, he's fast. He can run fast. He cuts underneath that zone and comes across the field, and they don't stay with him. Plus, if it's near him, he gets it. He doesn't miss. 2 leading tacklers for the Raiders, ironically, are their safeties, Turan and McElroy. Look at another tremendous catch by Christensen, who goes way up and comes down with the ball for a Raider first down.
Tell you one thing, if Keith Bostic never sees Todd Christensen again in a football uniform, it'll be too soon.
Christensen's caught 7 today. He has 46 for the season. Good for 81 yards today and 3 touchdowns.
See the contact.
And fights him off.
He does it very well, and he doesn't get caught.
They wrap him, hammer him.
Have they tried handcuffs?
He doesn't miss when they get it close.
Shackles. Tie his shoelaces together. He'll still catch the ball. They look more tired than they do anything else.
A couple of Raider fans here.
Tough to find those jerseys in Houston.
Beautiful day, close to 60,000 here. Dick Enberg with Dan Deerdorf. What's in store?
Well, you mentioned the devastating loss to Cleveland for Tennessee, Dick. How are they going to recover from that? Jeff Fisher says the mindset of this team isn't great. Obviously, the Raiders, undefeated, well-rested, at home, and if you looked at their first 2 wins, they're doing everything, and I mean everything, very well.
Raiders #1 offense in the NFL, and Janikowski, the Polish cannon, booms one deep into the end zone where Eddie Berlin takes the knee, and Tennessee goes on the attack at their own 20-yard line. Steve McNair, the veteran quarterback from Alcorn State, has a string of 16 consecutive games with a touchdown pass off to a 5-touchdown, 2-interception start. Those are his numbers, modest, only 107 yards passing in that loss to Cleveland in overtime last week at home when the Titans had a 2-touchdown lead with 5 minutes left. Crowd comes alive as McNair sets him up at the 20. Comes out throwing. Deep pattern, and it's intercepted. They go after the rookie Philip Buchanan, and Buchanan in his first start, the Raiders' #1 draft pick, has the interception.
Well, obviously, Dick, a decision by Steve McNair to throw this up there and let Kevin Dyson try to make the play regardless of how well he is covered, because Buchanan had textbook coverage right from the line of scrimmage. He had him inside out. There is no way that Kevin Dyson can go up and make that play. That's a risky way to start a football game, and what a magnificent, colossal backfire.
And Buchanan, the #1 pick out of Miami of Florida, shows why he was so highly touted, playing for the injured Charles Woodson, and his coverage was perfect on Dyson. So the Raiders start in Tennessee territory at the 46-yard line. Boy, home crowd, everyone raring to cheer as it is. As Jeff Fisher over to talk with Bob McElwee in the white hat, the referee today.
Is challenging the ruling on the field that it is an interception.
With a pass play, you don't have possession. So they're saying you have to hit the ground and keep possession of the football. Hitting the ground and having the ball come loose under the interpretation of the rules in the NFL is an incomplete pass, or in this case, an interception.
Meanwhile, Buchanan paying dividends. He's part of that John Gruden trade when Gruden went to Tampa Bay and the Buccaneers unloaded their drafts to Oakland. Buchanan was their #1 pick.
After reviewing the play, the intercepting player fails to keep possession throughout the play. It is an incomplete pass.
Well,
Tennessee is not charged with a timeout. It's 2nd and 10 on the 20-yard line.
I think Bob McElwee did exactly what he had to do. You must hit the ground and keep possession of the football for it to be either an interception or a reception. And in this case, Philip Buchanan, because I think of Dyson landing right on top of him.
Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
And he had help, obviously, from his coaches upstairs to say, challenge it from the 15. McNair under pressure. Wobbly pass going to be intercepted by Rod Woodson. And the veteran Woodson, who has 10 touchdowns with interceptions, picks off another to add to his incredible mark. Has 62 in his career.
Well, and none of them easier than this. Steve McNair is going to get hit in the act of throwing. He tries to step up, tries to find something, and his arm gets struck just as he's trying to throw it. Looked like Sam Adams. Yep, it is Sam Adams who interferes. And look at that thing straight up in the air. I'll guarantee you those 62, Dick, none of them for Rod Woodson were easier than that.
Woodson's first as a Raider, leading active player in interceptions.
Well, big Sam Adams signed only back in mid-August, pays his first really big dividend.
Gannon underneath. And it's a running back, Charlie Garner, for a touchdown. Oh, didn't take long. "17 yards on the touchdown to Garner, the running back."
Well, no surprise that the Raiders Oakland opened right up throwing the football, running everybody deep. Charlie Garner runs about a 2-yard crossing pattern. And is there any quarterback in football hitting that short route better than Rich Gannon?
Janikowski adds the extra point. The Raiders had not scored a point in the first half against the Titans in the last 3 games. It took them only a matter of seconds to score today as we go to New York for this update. All right. And one of the hottest and another great game and a very important overtime. That seems as if Cleveland, is that in the contract?
There's a lot of entertainment value with the Cleveland Browns.
About a kid who's cool as a cucumber. I talked to him before the game, and if his bloodlines are any indication of his future success, guess who his cousin is? Defensive end Javon Curse for the Titans, who didn't make the trip because he's hurt. But he talked to him during the week, and Javon gave him some good advice. He said, just do what you do best. I guess the kid can listen too, huh?
That's right. Some good bloodlines there. Curse will perhaps join Tennessee at midseason. Throw underneath is complete to the tight end. No, it's Drew Bennett, the wide receiver from UCLA, hit immediately by Terran Shaw, the extra defensive back in the Raider secondary, and that will not be enough for a first down. On comes Craig Hentrick and the Tennessee punting team.
Well, Dick, you know, actually, both those guys are playing because of superstars sitting this one. You know, Javon Curse isn't playing. And Buchanan is starting because Charles Woodson, the corner for the Raiders, who broke his shoulder a couple weeks ago, is going to be out for another 3 or 4 weeks. So that's why Buchanan's getting to start over there at the left corner spot. So a couple of the game's big players not here today.
Hendrick sends a wobbler toward Buchanan at the 18. Oh, he's in the open.
See ya.
Nobody's going to catch Philip Buchanan. And what a debut for this kid from Miami. Yards, and it's 13-0.
It's not often that a team suffers a loss that hurts as much as what happened to the Titans last week. A little over 5 minutes to go, a 14-point lead against Cleveland, and they lose. The questions all week, how are they going to respond from that devastating loss? Might be too early to jump to conclusions, but Dick, it doesn't appear that they've gotten over it.
Janikowski adds the extra point. Good job by Leckler in setting it up. And Jeff Fisher sees his team down by 2 touchdowns, and we have not as yet played 4 minutes in the game.
I mentioned Charles Woodson, the Heisman Trophy winner from Michigan. First game since high school that he hasn't been able to play. They said his injury about a 6-week injury, so we'll see. Well, take a look at this. Starts to the sideline. And that's just no contest. Craig Hentrick, the punter, he tries to get over there and wave. Maybe he should have dove for him, but that's with 10 yards in either direction. No punter is going to get Philip Buchanan.
Well, he was quite
how about this?
He was quite a baseball player in high school, and it's like an inside-the-park home run for Philip Buchanan.
And actually, that's kind of like watching John Gruden run for a touchdown.
Yes.
Because Philip Buchanan was at a little tug on the jersey right there. But you know, Philip Buchanan was drafted with one of the draft choices that the Oakland Raiders got from Tampa Bay. With John Gruden going to Tampa Bay, the Raiders received 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, and one of those number 1s produced Philip Buchanan. So paying off early.
14-0 in Buchanan's debut as a starter. Janikowski won't give the Titans a chance to return one. Eddie Berlin kneels. It'll be at the 20 for McNair. It'll go to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, Dick, the Steelers and
the start of this season, Dan, the overtime games, and how many have come right down to that final play. This one Doesn't start that way. Again, the last time Henford sent it in the air, the rookie Buchanan took it at his 17, and there he is again and raced untouched. 83 yards for a touchdown.
Tennessee right now, Dick, shell-shocked is the only word that comes to mind. These guys have to be as wide-eyed as a group of professionals could possibly be.
Hendrick sends up a high spiral. Buchanan drifting on the infield dirt to the 26, back to the 25, reverses it, and here they go again. Terry Kirby. Kirby's in the open, and the Raiders are going to lead 21-0, and they've only had one offensive play from scrimmage. My, oh my.
Well, I thought there was a blatant block in the back to spring that run, and it wasn't called. This is mind-numbing for Tennessee. Watch the block. It's going to come in from the right side. Well, in the reverse. There goes the reverse. Right there. I think that's number 56, Travian Smith, from behind. And how that didn't get called, I have no idea whatsoever.
That was in the open, but it was not flagged, and so Janikowski for the extra point and a 21-0 early lead. Unbelievable.
Well, the folks in Tennessee got to be upset about that one. A blatant block from behind springs Kirby for a 6-pointer. Guy on that set, though.
You know, they're all skill players.
When they look at them, they're all good-looking and thin, and those suits fit them so well. And
nice knots on their ties. You notice how they're right up there. You don't see any collar.
Need a little pork on that set.
First and goal from the 10.
I'm not lobbying for a job. I like it here.
Gannon fires, complete, touchdown, Jerry Rice. That's almost unfair. Jerry Rice, with all his savvy, working against the rookie from Wisconsin, Mike Eccles. Welcome to the league, Michael.
And it happens right in front of the black hole down there in front of the Raiders faithful. What a perfectly thrown ball by Rich Gannon, and it comes at a point right at the corner with the timing is such that Eccles never does get a chance to turn around. By the time he locates the ball, it's going over his shoulder right into Jerry Rice's hands.
197 touchdowns for Rice. Janikowski with the extra point, and with less than a minute remaining in the half, it's 31-7. For the Raiders, and Rice with a 10-yard touchdown reception.
And Dick, I know I love the history of the game and the guys who played this game before, but how nice a moment was this after Jerry Rice's touchdown. Who does he hug? That's Fred Biletnikoff.
Jumping the pattern, he is so smart. Derek Mason.
Initially looked like it either hit Woodson right on the hands or right in the chest. There's Woodson right in the middle of the picture. See, it gets deflected. Yeah, and it changed the course of the ball. Actually, that would have been almost impossible for Woodson to come up with that thing. Derek Mason just altered the ball enough that it took it out of Woodson's grasp.
On 2nd and 10, McNair under pressure, steps away, throws incomplete, intercepted this time.
I don't believe it.
Can you believe Rod Woodson is going to score another touchdown? And this will make his NFL record 11 touchdowns by interception. Rod Woodson.
And up into the black hole he goes. And again, you know, Dick, I'm back to the old, why are some players in the right place at the right time? It's a deflected ball. Now McNair does a great job. He throws it to Wycheck, but it bounces. But
there it is again.
Is just standing there, and the ball comes right to him like some kind of a dust magnet. Only it's a football magnet. It's just truly remarkable how great players, things like that happen to them. You're back to the old, the wind is behind the best sailor. Well, the wind is behind Rod Woodson today.
Janikowski with the extra point. Not only has Woodson extended his NFL record, 11 interception returns for a touchdown, he now has returned for more yards than anyone in history.
This college football, thinking the guy was down on the ground.
Jerry Porter able to make that reception, and he has been called the most improved of the Raiders, and it takes 8-9 Titans to stop him. He's a big guy, 6'2" and 220. Wide receiver from West Virginia. 25 yards for him on the play.
Well, the question right now, just think of some of the scenarios here, Dick. If Tennessee would have kicked extra points after those touchdowns, we'd have a 38-28 ball game. Just a touchdown and a field goal. If they would have converted all 3 of the 2-point conversions, we'd have a 1-possession game. We'd be 38-31. The question now is, can the Raiders stop making silly mistakes and letting Tennessee back in this game?
Underneath to Rice, and Rice on that play has the 10 yards, and that is a historic catch. That 10 yards pushes him past Walter Payton. No one in the history of the National Football League has gained more yards from scrimmage than number 80, Jerry Rice.
And kind of emblematic of his entire career. Just a little hook right over the middle, gets hit by a couple guys, takes a beating for the catch. And there you see it by 2, Jerry Rice.
All the rest of them are rushers, men who have rushed the ball, caught it out of the backfield. Here's a man primarily all of his yards catching passes, a few on reverses and rushes, but what a great PK.
Well, it's Central Michigan would be YA.
Oh, come on. Oh boy. Now, Chippewa Nation is going to be after you. Gannon again. First man covered, so he goes to the tight end, Roland Williams. And Williams lurches forward for a first down, I believe. Godfrey at 18. Now the run. Garner. He's rejected. A second time. And Marshall for him. Edger and James have gained more yards from scrimmage than Garner the last 3 years. Wide open is Jerry Porter, and he has his second touchdown of the season. And is 6'2". He's big enough to leap the wall here at the Coliseum. They're singing here in Oakland as Gannon fires to the wide open Garner, and a first down at the Tennessee 41.
Well, it appears that the Raiders are wanting 50. They're not going to sit down and just run out the clock. Rich Gannon is still under center, and he's throwing to his stars, and they're not just going to hand it off to Charles Wheatley and try to run it away.
Garner with 60 yards and 6 catches, 58 more rushing. Quick throw right on the money to Tim Brown. And Brown gets a block, and he's free. Touchdown, Raiders. The greatest ever Raider without a Super Bowl appearance, Tim Brown. He's motivated in more ways than one.
And who do you think gives him a block out front? You want to guess Jerry Rice?
I'll guess that.
That would be a very good guess. That touchdown was because Jerry Rice makes the block for his teammate. And Freddie Blitnikoff patting them both on the back. There's one of the best guys that ever played in this league, Fred Blitnikoff, one of the most beloved guys in the Hall of Fame. And what a thrill it has to be for him. There's Jerry out front. Look at that. Timmy Brown breaks to the sideline. Dyson was tied up long enough by Jerry Rice. Wow.
Well, and with that score is Keith Bullock shaken up a bit but runs off the field. Janikowski's try for point, if successful, will tie the Raider record for most points in a game. Surprisingly, 52. I would have thought it was higher than that, but they're going to equal 1963, 52 against Houston, and 2 years ago, 52 against Carolina, and this is for 52.
But Dick, isn't this a beautiful thing? And I'm sorry for Tennessee, but we're getting to watch Jerry Rice and Tim Brown do the things they do. I'm privileged to be here.
Oh my. The Raiders tying the time scoring mark. It's been a day for the record book as Rod Woodson has extended his touchdowns by interception mark, returning his 11th interception for a touchdown to pad his record. Jerry Rice has moved ahead of the immortal Walter Payton, most yards from scrimmage, and now Bill Callahan's first team has tied the scoring mark for a single game in Raider history. This is a very, very good team, and Rich Gannon, such a solid game with all the other superstars in this team. You sometimes overlook Gannon. He's got 4 touchdowns and 381 yards passing today.
In this game, there's Hall of Famer Jim Otto, and all of us who loved the game saddened by the passing of Mike Webster. Lots of problems away from the game, and I saw one of the Steelers who said maybe finally Mike's in peace, and I hope that's the case.
Only 50.
Yeah. Well, long ride back to Nashville, Dick, for these guys.
Yeah, they're 1-3, but Jeff Fisher will remind his team that the Patriots were 1-3 a year ago. And meanwhile, Bill Callahan has this high-energy offense with a veteran and tough defense. And the Oakland Raiders are out of the gate 3-0. Watch out, NFL. A final score of 52-25 in a game that Jerry Rice breaks through Walter Payton, becoming the all-time producer of yardage from scrimmage in the history of the National Football League. For Dan Deerdorf, Bonnie Bernstein, this is Dick Enberg. Thank you for being with us on a beautiful day on the east side of the bay.
A chance to return this one from 2 yards deep in the end zone. To the 20. Out across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. Last series, the costly turnover. Carr over the middle. That's complete, and this is Cooper. Cooper upended at the 25-yard line. Carr over the middle again, and that one complete to Crabtree. Carr lofting it in the middle of the field. That is caught by Seth Roberts. First down, Oakland. He hit him more in the chest. Here's Carr on first down, running out of time now, and flips it out to number 86. That is Lee Smith, the tight end. Carr gonna go for it all. To the goal line, off the intended receiver, Andre Holmes, number 18, the Tennessee 31. Carr lobbing it, complete inside the 15-yard line. Carr going to the end zone. It is caught by Seth Roberts for the touchdown. Incredible concentration on his part. Roberts, 6 catches for 113 yards, and that's his second TD catch of the day.
And the Titans just went to 4 verticals, and you put the stress on the safety to make that decision.
Mariota. And this one is intercepted. Picked off by Nate Allen.